Hello and welcome back. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun, all right, and I'm going to be showing you how to navigate around Metasploit to include how to start and initialize it, as well as the purpose to the database and different features built in. So the beauty is Parrot already comes with Metasploit installed since it is a security distribution. So in order for Metasploit to organize all your data and be able to separate it based on workspaces and what services have been found and things like that. If you were to run db nmap or even imported your nmap, it needs a database. Oddly enough, so what we're going to do is the first command. Anytime you want to do run Metasploit, first command you need to run is sudo postgresql start. Whoops. Service postgresql start. So once the Postgres database is started, the next thing you want to do is sudo msfdb init. So this is going to initialize the database, create the users, create the tables, so that everything has a place to go. All right. Now, mind you, there is a graphical way you can do this. I don't use the graphical form. I don't use Armitage, nor do I use the web UI. I prefer to do everything through command line, so that's what I'm going to be showing you. So once the database is initialized, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create workspaces and what the different functionalities are, or what the different modules are within Metasploit. So now that that's created, we just do msfconsole to get into it. And the other nice thing about the database and the way Metasploit works is by having the database like Postgres and the msfdb itself, is that it caches a lot of the data so that it's quicker to search for things. So if you want to do help within Metasploit, simple help command will actually tell you, a different the different commands you can run. So if you're a developer and want to edit a module or something like that, if you're looking for credentials, so say you compromise the box or you ran a scan or what have you, and you use something like Mimikatz or anything like that to pull creds, it actually lists them all in the database for you. The other thing it can do, like I said, you can run nmap. So you can go through and do db nmap straight from here, and it will import everything into the database on its own. You can do an import, which will allow you to take an nmap scan result and import it in. You can also export any of your database in the files you found. So these are just a few things, right? Now, if you import nmap or do a db nmap and find services and things like that, you can type in vulns and it'll display any vulnerabilities that it has found. You can type in services. It'll show you all services that are running on the different hosts that you've scanned. Any notes that you've taken and things of that nature. And again, hosts it'll show you all the hosts. What I want to show you is workspaces, because workspaces are awesome. All right. I've used them a lot, and you can actually use them on a lot of your pen tests, or if you want to isolate your different CTFs. So hack the box, PWK. Well, you wouldn't use this for PWK, but hack the box. Try hack me, or if you're doing bug bounties, things like that. That way you can keep all your information isolated. So in order to see your workspaces, it's as simple as typing in workspace. Now, if you wanted to add a workspace, let's say we want to add hack the box, you do workspace-a. And then if I type in workspace again, there it is. Now, the other thing you can do is delete workspaces. So if I do workspace-d HTTP, now it's deleted. So that's how you go about changing your workspace. And again, if you change your workspace, the beauty of it is all machines, all hosts that you scan in that workspace, all that data is consolidated to just there. So you can consider it like another table within a database. So your default table, which will host all your hosts, all your services, anything like that, that if you didn't create workspaces would all be there. However, by creating a workspace, you create that other table for it to host that information there in that workspace. The other thing is with the search function, there's a bunch of different things you can do, right? So you can search for, say, MS08, and that will find all MS08 vulnerabilities, or exploits rather. So there can be an auxiliary module which will scan for it to see if it's vulnerable. There's also your exploit modules. Scanners are nice. I don't use them too incredibly often. Normally, if I'm going to use, if I'm going to scan something, I do it via Nmap or some other method. So if I'm looking for, I don't know, directories, if I'm looking for SMB or things of that nature, I'll use some other functionality. But it is nice that if you're trying to run a pen test and want to have everything within its own database and everything centralized, Metasploit gives you the capability to do things like that. All right. The other thing is if you do a search for, say, exploit, that's one way to actually show every single type of exploit it has. Post and post exploits, and then regular exploits, but it'll show you everything. So it's not really a valid way or the way you want to go about finding any type of exploit in here. There is a way that I can do this. So what we want to look for is, there we go, show payloads. And that will show you, so if you do shows a lot of things, obviously. But by putting in payloads, you can actually see every payload that Metasploit has as well. Now, normally what you would do is you would run this after you've already selected an exploit. And the reason for that is you want payloads that are only going to work on that exploit that you chose. So if you choose a Windows exploit and then do show payloads, you only want to see the Windows payloads. You don't want to see something like Linux. So that's why you always select your exploit before you do anything else. And again, we can run Nmap. So if I were to do db nmap, and we'll just run it on my own machine. 127.0.0.1, and we're just going to do that. Hey, what do you know? It found that Postgres is open. And if I do hosts, there it is. If I do services, shows that. So I can do it that way. The other way would be to, again, run Nmap and import it. So these are just a few of the features to work with Metasploit. There's a whole lot more that it can do. There's a lot of functionality. And I did want to show you that it's already built into Parrot. I wanted to show you how to set it up and how to work with workspaces. I think we did that. If there is anything else for Metasploit that you think I may have missed as far as, you know, some of the basics, feel free to let me know. But I think this is a pretty decent overview on how just to get started with it, on what it can do. There's a lot more between Meterpreter and your different shells and payloads. Like I said, there's so much functionality. It's an entire class. So it would take a long time. But again, I feel this is a good overview, and it shows people that, you know, how to use the database. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you have any issues, again, whether, you know, no matter what it be, go ahead and let me know that as well. But I do ask that you please subscribe, and feel free to get a hold of me on Discord or Twitter or anything else, and I'd love to hear from you. Have a good day.